keep this on me for now, right now.
Uh-oh.
I was the one telling the people out here, the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, if they lost the first 2 football games of the season, would still be in the hunt to make a college football playoff. I talked to Joe Lisi quite a bit during the week, and you know what Joe Lisi's been telling me? Notre Dame just might be the best football team in the country right now, and I believe him. I do. Rolling over teams. The offense is out there right now, and I don't think anybody can stop them.
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
Is it going to be Gabriel over the next 4 or 5 weeks? Or is it going to be...
I know.
Is it going to, but that's where they're at right now. Because that mentality, changes. We go from rebuild at 1-3 to all of a sudden at 2-3, the bell goes off, and he in his head, probably drinking a beer at night, goes, hey, I can get this team to the playoffs.
You listen,
but that's the way these coaches think.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
So let's just start right there. Malik Neighbors, Tyreek Hill, done for 2025. Think of the managers that invested the draft capital. Man, oh man, what to do?
Yeah, this is really tough. I had people message me, man, I had Neighbors and Hill, and I lost them both in the same week. That's tough. It's a tough day at the office for sure, and that's why you watch us here on FST, Fantasy Sports Today. We're trying to help you.
Fantasy Sports Today, only on SportsGrid.
At this event, people from Amazon and Alexa made it very clear that in addition to Sports Highlight coming up, you will be able to perhaps buy sports tickets to events, buy movie tickets, arrange fantasy football teams, and I think somewhere down the road, maybe not too far down the road, given the NBA on Prime deal, they will allow sports betting on the television set through Alexa Plus.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Top of the hour power, as we like to say, right here on the early line on a Wednesday. It's a hump day. It's Donnie right side. It's Joe Raniero. We're doing our job right now. We got you caffeinated in hour number 1. Now you're starting to settle into your day and realize that if you take the binoculars out, the weekend is coming up. But before you do that, Joe, usually it's like Wednesday. I just got to make it till Friday, Saturday, Sunday. No. You got Major League Baseball all afternoon. You're in your cubicle. You're trying to sell some loans out there. You're, on the back of a trash truck checking some scores. You could do that today. It helps you get through. But more importantly, Joe and Donnie help you get through this day here by getting you through this hour number 2 and setting the table for what to anticipate, Joe. Love a hump day Wednesday. We're almost there to Major League Baseball. 4 spot today, Joe.
4 elimination games, Donnie,
Beautiful.
as well. Every one of those has urgency. Win or go home. And then you got some college football tonight on a Wednesday as well. So a little something for everybody here.
Who's playing tonight, by the way, in college football, Joe? Give me a quick rundown. What do we got?
All right, so you're going to have, it's all about Conference USA here tonight, Donnie.
USA.
And it is going to be ugly on so many different levels. I can't even begin to tell you. Middle Tennessee State is going to excite a lot of people. So is Liberty and UTEP. That's going to excite a lot of people as well. But you know what? It's football. Just give me some football.
So I remember, by the way, last time I was betting MTSU, it was Stockstill and Stockstill. The dad was the coach, the quarterback was Stockstill, and away you went there. Look, I have a lot of good memories from betting small-time college football programs and having a lot of success. But today, we graduate back into the NFL where you're playing for big stakes, you got big money, and you're going to get fined big money if you do the wrong things here. $100,000 fine as we start the early lineup for Jonathan Gannon, head coach here. Can't be punching your players on the sideline when you actually have cameras that are there to capture the moment. We feel the frustration. You have to expect that fine. And maybe sometimes you said, like an NBA player yells at the ref, like, I don't give a damn if I'm getting fined. I got to say this. It felt like he had to reset the tone for that locker room by trying to beat up a football player on the field for making such an egregious mistake that it lost. Keep in mind, though, I don't think that sideline spat was after they lost the game. That was when they still should have won that football game, but that just contributed to the absolute meltdown to the Cardinals.
Yeah, well, I mean, that was the leading event, right? That caused that chain of events that allowed you to eventually lose. So it's the easiest thing to look back on, but listen, it's clear. There's a lot of little different things that could have went wrong, but as a head coach, he was he got all caught up in it, had to have his say. But listen, I guarantee there's nothing he said or did that DeMarcado or his teammates should not have seen coming here, because you can't do that as a player, and he needs to know that.
And by the way, Brett McMurphy did just send a tweet out here, Joe, talking about some college football action and pro football action. Today starts 49 consecutive days of a college football or NFL game played every single day till November the 26th. This is the glory time. This is what we absolutely love about sports. You know what else you love about sports? Joe Flacco going to the Cincinnati Bengals here to try to resurrect that offense and put a couple wins on the board. He couldn't do that with Cleveland. Quite frankly, he wasn't that good, but still a veteran presence, and something had to change on that offense for the Bengals. Shedeur Sanders wore number 2 in college. Shedeur Sanders was number 12 in the pros, but he's now number 2 on the depth chart in Cleveland. Moving quarterbacks, and I love to see it here. Create some intrigue.
Yeah, I mean, some people will say that, oh, wow, is this a desperate move by the Cincinnati Bengals here? But of course it's a desperate move. Like, they're not going to get Joe Burrow back anytime soon. But the fact that they have somebody with some experience that they're hoping anything is better than what they're rolling out there. And for the Browns, now all of a sudden Shedeur's number 2, and he is one snap away from being the starting quarterback for the Browns. And that will move the needle for a lot of folks here coming up over the next few months.
You know, move the needle for a lot of folks. You're getting fined $250,000 that many of us don't have here. Jerry Jones goes, I was just messing around. I'll pay the $250. Sometimes just get caught up in the game here. Jerry Jones flipping the bird in MetLife Stadium. That cost you 250 G's, brother.
And you got to love it, because Jerry's at that beautiful age now where the filter is gone, Donnie. He could care less. He will gladly write that check. He'd have paid much more to do it. He is not apologetic for anything. I love Jerry at this point. Love it.
Yep, Jerry. And everyone else we're loving today, Aaron Judge. Probably hating Aaron Judge if they lost that game yesterday, but Judge has an absolute detonator home run to get the Yankees back into the series. They win that game 9-6, stave off elimination, and right back in the ball yard today in the Bronx. They'll try to do it again and force a game number 5.
Yeah, well, exactly what the captain is supposed to do, right? It's the idea that Judge is no longer this, he doesn't show up in October. That's ridiculous. The guy's hitting, over 400 now in the postseason, and he single-handedly created the opportunity for the Yankees not to get swept in this series, and now switch the momentum with a kid on the mound tonight that they are very confident behind. So, and it all started with him and that tying home run there in the 4th inning.
Break your hand, get surgery 17 days later, hoping to get back involved in college football. That's Sean Mateer here. He was probably going to win the Heisman, or maybe had a great chance to win the Heisman if he didn't get injured. He's fighting to get back to play Texas and Arch Manning in the Red River rivalry in Texas at the Cotton Bowl. My question to you, Joe Ranieri, do you think Mateer makes it to the starting gate this weekend and is the quarterback for OU?
Well, they're certainly pushing it. And we talked about it in our spread lines yesterday, Donnie, how keep an eye on this game, because his availability is going to move that number. It's already began to push it down here a little bit. Now -1, 1.5 after opening up -3 for Texas. I don't know. Do I want to back Oklahoma with a backup quarterback? Not really, but he's trying to push to get on the field. I still think it remains to be seen whether that happens or not.
You know who's pushing to get back on the field? Not a player, but a coach. That's Deion Sanders, head coach of the Colorado Buffaloes here. Had a procedure on Tuesday with hopes of being back on the practice field today. And by the way, going through what he's done over the past, probably 10 years now at this point, which deals with a lot of blood clots and problems with his feet and his legs and blood moving through his body. I can't imagine if you have problems with blood clots that at any moment can just basically restrict your capacities here. So credit to him for going through the stress of being a major Division I college football coach and also getting these procedures done and having a bright outlook each and every time, man. Coach Deion's giving it his all right now.
Yeah, it's the guy has always been a natural leader, and it's going to take more than this here, some blood clots and the pain and stuff to keep him away from the kids on that team there and coaching. It's what he loves to do. I mean, nobody's ever questioned the heart and soul of Deion Sanders. The guy is an absolute warrior, and he always has been. And we hope he gets on that sideline sooner rather than later. Big game for them coming up this week.
Talking about the sidelines here, Conor McGregor going to be on the sidelines again because I think it was refusing to take a drug test at this point, suspended for 18 months. I don't remember last time he fought, but he hasn't been irrelevant for at least it feels like a decade at this point. And by the way, you can also lump in Odell Beckham, who somehow probably loves the fact that he's on an NFL newswire for being suspended for 6 games when nobody wants him on a team anyway at this point. So oddities out here where two guys I don't think are faking it right now, like they want to get back into their sports, but refusing to take tests, and then one guy taking tests and failing tests.
The Conor McGregor thing is interesting, Donnie, because I think you nailed it, right? Why is he even a topic of conversation? Well, I'll tell you why he's a topic of conversation. Because the UFC is really short on superstars, and they have been now for a while, and that is a problem moving forward for Dana White.
Like, just keeping your name in the headlines is smart for business as it is. It just feels like whenever you need somebody, like, I'll fight this guy over here, and then you build the fight up and he never fights, but it's good for him and not good for the UFC. Doesn't make too much sense at this point. Let's talk college football. Big weekend coming up, people.
Enter into the magical world of McLuck.com, where even the smallest of spins can win real cash prizes. Adventure into over 1,000 of the best Vegas-style slot games. So what are you waiting for? Unlock your free welcome offer today. Join the fun where winners play and players win.
Well, Shadur, which quarterbacks are you talking about? Because there is some bad quarterback play out there, but the dude who can't beat Dylan Gabriel out for a job and can't beat Joe Flacco out for a job certainly can't lay claim to being better than any other quarterback in the league.
The Craig Carton Show. Only on SportsGrid.
Major League Baseball has decided it is time to put balls and strikes not just in the hands of the umpires, but also the robot umpires, as they say. The ABS system is now officially in place starting next season. Now, keep in mind, they're not just throwing this out there. They have used this at the Arizona Fall League, and they've also used it at different levels of the minor leagues as well.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
That's a lot for a closer. 10. You're not a closer anymore if you blow 10 games. I mean, my goodness. That's
he's mentally broken too. Like, it's to the point where, like, Dodger fans aren't even mad at him; they're more mad at the Dodgers for putting him out there.
Putting him in,
right? It's more so.
Right.
Yeah, it's like, guys, like, he's done.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid. It's the most beautiful time of the year. No, not because of foliage or pumpkin spice lattes. It's because of football. SportsGrid has you covered all season long, covering every snap, every score, and every line move. Prepare, watch, win. Weekends are for winners. Only on SportsGrid.
Big weekend coming up for college football, and yes, 49 straight days of football. Oh, it feels so good. But before we get there, let's take a look at the Heisman Trophy race right now, because each and every big game that's played, these numbers are on the move. just a week ago, we were talking about Fernando Mendoza. Look at him leading in the clubhouse in the odds market to win the Heisman. He now drops back to a 14-1 price. If you look at the top of the leaderboard, it's Dante Moore of Oregon. Why? They go on the road and beat Penn State. You get extra points for that. Oh, look, there's Carson Beck right behind him here. Why? You go on the road, beat a ranked team in Florida State. You move up and get those bonus points. Don't look now, though. Ty Simpson at Alabama up off the carpet. Another big-time game this weekend to try to steer clear and see if he can sort of add on to his intrigue. But also, John Mateer shows up now at a 10-1 price in the Heisman Trophy marketplaces, where if he never got injured, he'd probably be the favorite. Let's start there with Mateer at 10-1. Are we buying into that? Like, I can't put my money on this kid, can you?
Well, because you just can't trust it. He was the favorite prior to the thumb injury and having going down. But again, it's very hard because, on that thumb and the throwing hand and one hit away, Donnie, and it's like, oh boy, I'm holding a ticket with a guy that can't finish the season. So it's far too risky. And there's far too many guys ahead of him that are going to be playing in much bigger games moving forward. Like Dante Moore going, the schedule there for the Big Ten is going to be out of control. But Simpson is fascinating to me because this could be the best pure passing quarterback Alabama has had in quite some time. And he's got a lot of big games coming up where on a national stage, he could garner a whole lot of eyeballs if he shows up.
How about this national stage? Chances to win the championship here. It's Ohio State at a plus 430 price. Oregon plus 550, followed by Alabama plus 650. Then there's those Miami Hurricanes under 10-1 listed at a 9-1 price, followed by 10-1, the Georgia Bulldogs here. These numbers will change on a week-to-week basis, no doubt about it. Ohio State deserves to be the number 1 team, and I do think, Oregon does deserve to be number 2. Alabama, interesting one there. Tough schedule all the way out, but they're priced at a plus 650, right up there with the big boys again.
Yeah, and listen, they had the one little bump in the road there against Florida State, who is, let's face it, it was in Doak Campbell. Florida State rejuvenated here. But they've righted the ship. And Kalen DeBoer, that big win against Georgia, no letdown against Vandy. They beat Vandy rather easily here. And now they'll have another test because Missouri's 5-0. They're 14th in the country. This is going to be another test for Alabama, which if they pass, Donnie, you better start taking them seriously here because nobody's talking about the SEC anymore, if you've noticed.
I got to start talking about the Big Ten here at this point. Why? Because Indiana's going cross-country to take on Oregon. The Big Sig shows up at Autzen Stadium as an underdog of 7.5 points in a total that's listed at 55.5. I think we're going to get some fireworks in this game. And two coaches who have no shame in their game would love to either run it up and also tell the press they're going to run it up on this other team. Love it.
Yes. Yeah, no, it's this is going to be interesting. And I think this game is going to go very far in dictating exactly what this postseason looks like between these with these two teams, right? And we saw nothing but Oregon money early, Donnie. In fact, the public loves Oregon here, especially at home, right? But we saw this open up at 9.5, Donnie. So if we're all betting Oregon, then why is this down to 7.5? Because there is a clear pros versus Joes situation happening here. The public sees Oregon at home. They'll lay it, but we're not getting that line movement towards Oregon. It's all over a touchdown towards Indiana.
Yeah, looking forward to that game this weekend. Back to the SEC, Florida and Texas A&M. New life for Florida. Not to say they're going to win a national championship, but maybe saving their coach's job and be a respectable team. They go on the road down to Kyle Field to take on Texas A&M. They also, just like Indiana, are 7.5-point underdogs. The total of this game listed around 47.5 to 46.5, depending on where you're shopping at. Florida, rebirth here. Does it continue against A&M, or is A&M just too strong here, sitting there at 5-0, top 5 in the country?
A&M has looked the part here, Donnie, right? Certainly offensively. Marcellus Reed there. I mean, the kid has been fantastic. The defense has been really, really good for him. And this is going to be a big test for them. This is a tough place to play. But listen, you're talking about a Florida team, let's be honest, playing with house money now. If the team that just showed up, right, against Texas shows up here against A&M, this is going to be a lot closer than people realize here. I think if Lagway can hold on to the ball and that offense with that, by the way, might be the freshman receiver of the century there in Wilson, who seems to be unstoppable. If Florida will hold their own in this game against A&M.
Bo Prabula versus Ty Simpson. How about this game, Joe? Opened up 6.5 as a favorite towards Alabama. That look-ahead number, we're down to 3.5 at FanDuel and 3s at many outlets out there. A total of 52.5 to 51.5, depending where you're shopping at live today. Bama on the road. Shrinking marketplace here. Can Missouri pull the short upset at home?
Yeah, well, that's what we had said, right? We talked about this Monday on our spread lines, which is why it pays to hang with us here, because that line opened up 6.5, and like I said, it was down to 3 now. I said, keep an eye. Will this thing hit 3 at some point? Well, guess what, Donnie? You just said, yeah, 3 is available in the marketplace here, and yeah, so we've got a big public play on Missouri in this one here, but to me, I don't know. I think Alabama is about to kick this thing into another gear.
Give me Jam Miller in a big spot over 100 yards, paving the way there for Ty Simpson and the boys. Ohio State and Illinois heading to Champaign. Maybe they'll pop some champagne bottles this year for Ohio State with a national championship, but they got to beat the University of Illinois. They are 14.5-point favorites with a total of 49.5. Any pushback for Illinois? Or is that defense from Ohio State? Hey, your offense is kind of cute. Stop it.
Yeah, well, that's going to be the thing, right, Donnie? I mean, this is going to be the best defense that Illinois will have faced. And if Indiana was able to stifle you, I can assure you Ohio State is going to stifle that offense. This could be a rout.
Let's take a look here at some NFL action coming up this weekend here, starting with the Broncos and the Jets. Yeah, that's overseas. Another overseas game. And Roger Goodell says he wants every team to play at least one overseas game in every year. Stop the madness. Enough of this stuff here. We'll talk NFL next. Keep this on me for now, right now. I was the one telling the people out here, the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, if they lost the first 2 football games of the season, would still be in the hunt to make a college football playoff. I talked to Joe Lisi quite a bit during the week, and you know what Joe Lisi's been telling me? Notre Dame just might be the best football team in the country right now, and I believe him. I do. Rolling over teams. The offense is out there right now, and I don't think anybody can stop them.
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
Is it going to be Gabriel over the next 4 or 5 weeks? Or is it going to be?
I know.
Is it going to, but that's where they're at right now, because that mentality, changes. We go from rebuild at 1 and 3 to all of a sudden at 2 and 3, the bell goes off, and he in his head, probably drinking a beer at night, goes, "Hey, I can get this team to the playoffs."
You listen,
but that's the way these coaches think.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
So let's just start right there. Malik Neighbors, Tyreek Hill, done for 2025. Think of the managers that invested the draft capital. Man, oh man, what to do?
Yeah, this is really tough. I had people message me, man, I had Neighbors and Hill, and I lost them both in the same week. That's tough. It's a tough day at the office for sure. And that's why you watch us here on FST, Fantasy Sports Today. We're trying to help you.
Fantasy Sports Today, only on SportsGrid.
At this event, people from Amazon and Alexa made it very clear that in addition to Sports Highlight coming up, you will be able to perhaps buy sports tickets to events, buy movie tickets, arrange fantasy football teams, and I think somewhere down the road, maybe not too far down the road, given the NBA on Prime deal, they will allow sports betting on the television set through Alexa Plus.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Let's take a look at this weekend's action here in the NFL, which starts bright and early on a Sunday morning. Now, we usually don't send the best and the brightest in these overseas games, as you can see. And it's like, hey, you know what? All right, well, we'll wake up early to watch because it's the NFL. We're doing it again. The Denver Broncos, which should have lost to the Philadelphia Eagles, but the refs cheated them there. We can get back to that at a later time. But then we take a look at the New York Jets, who are still searching for a victory on the season with a bad offense and an even worse defense here, Joe. A touchdown favorite, neutral site for the Denver Broncos. Is there hope for the Jets this weekend, or are the Jets embarrassed at home, on the road, and overseas?
Yeah, nothing good can come from backing the Jets in this spot. I don't care how many points they are getting here. I mean, they made a Dallas offense that had one healthy starting offensive lineman look like world beaters, and couldn't get the Dak Prescott, can't get an interception or a turnover. They are already embarrassing, and now they get to go overseas and be embarrassed on a international stage here. And really all the Broncos have to do is shut down the Jets running game. And that's pretty much, I mean, they just gave up, 45 rushing yards to the Eagles? So if you're going to make Justin Fields have to beat you, I like the chances of Denver not only winning this game, but also covering it, Donnie.
Yeah, like you take a look too at like styles that make fights, right? And you break this up because you have a good defense on Denver. Like, Surtain is one of the better cornerbacks in the NFL. He's going to shadow, Garrett Wilson. So I don't know where the offense really is coming from for the Jets. And maybe it's just Justin Fields running 13 times for 112 yards and 2 touchdowns like he's playing in high school. But that's the feel I have for the Jets this year. Up in smoke and already looking for your franchise quarterback in the draft. Let's take a look at a 1 o'clock game, Seattle and Jacksonville. Good one from Duval, which brings Sam Darnold to town. They're looking for pick up a victory here after a devastating loss to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with Jacksonville. Did they ride the high of that Monday Night Football game win and forget to sort of lace them back up on Sunday, Joe? 1.5 point number, 46.5 point total.
Dude, well, I'll tell you this. If that defense of Seattle is extremely banged up, especially the back end, and they lost a couple of more guys early in that game against Tampa there, which hence is why you saw Baker Mayfield and company light them up. I don't know that that's going to be any different right now here. I think that Jacksonville had showed you they're more than capable of putting some points on the board. Seattle showed you they can certainly do it as well. I mean, if they give up nearly 500 yards of offense to Kansas City, I think Sam Darnold and that offense can get some things done. I love the over. Donnie, no way would I sweat an under out in that game, and Duval not going to do it.
Let's get over to the Pittsburgh Steelers here. And by the way, a little bit of respect here for the Cleveland Browns. I'm thinking Pittsburgh awful bye, Cleveland overseas. Cleveland opens up as a 5.5 point favorite. That number hasn't moved. There's even outlets out here now showing a -5 as a favorite towards Pittsburgh. A low total of 38.5 to 37.5, depending on where you're shopping. Dylan Gabriel, I like the move to Gabriel here. Gives them a little bit more athletic ability. That defense, is going to come to play for Cleveland. Interesting number there in Pittsburgh, though, for me.
Yeah, interesting total, too, as well, because, 36.5, 37? Aaron Rodgers has started 266 games in his career, and this is just the second lowest total that has ever been involved in a game in which he is a starter here. So, it's not a great spot for the Browns, Donnie. I mean, they've lost 21 consecutive regular season games in Pittsburgh. Their last win, October of 2003. You want to guess who the Browns quarterback was? The last Browns quarterback to beat Pittsburgh?
Ooh. Who was it?
2003. How's Tim Couch sound? Does Tim Couch sound good? Yeah, that's really how long it has been. That's it. That is the last time he's the last quarterback to have beaten. Nope. Last Browns quarterback to have beaten Pittsburgh in the regular season. If it ain't, this is truly the definition of it ain't broke, Tony. Don't fix it. 21 straight, about to be 22 straight.
Look, I love the fact that Cleveland's going with Gabriel and that infusion of talent. But part of me is just like, can we just put Shador in there just because everybody's head will explode? If he does great, there's going to be a section of the internet that's going to love it. If he does poorly, there's going to be a section that's going to love it. Like, I just feel like we need a couple games out of Shador sooner than later just for the sit back and play armchair quarterback on those games.
Yeah, that will move the needle for the Browns. Nothing else they got. I do like Judkins. They've got pieces. They've got a defense. Can they put enough of it together to upset some teams down the stretch?
Moving the needle. It's not what the Miami Dolphins are doing down on South Beach. They're going to hold of the Chargers here. Oof. That regime struggling. We'll be right back.
Shedeur Sanders will be starting for the Browns by week 9. I am buying this. I am buying this absolutely. At a certain point, Joe Flacco just not the answer. We know they already made the change. Dylan Gabriel starting this week. We know that. But maybe a team needs a quarterback, and they're willing to trade for Joe Flacco for some level of stability, and then we simply get nothing out of Dylan Gabriel. He is a rookie quarterback when it's all said and done. Maybe there's just no production from him. So why not just move on to a different rookie quarterback that you have just to see what you have? And then, as George, as you mentioned up at the top, you have to evaluate going into next year's draft. So I will absolutely buy this.
The next 4 weeks, Minnesota, Pittsburgh, Miami, New England. I mean, the question is this. If they truly believe that Gabriel could be a future starter, you got to give him more than 4 weeks, right? That's 4 weeks is not enough. Minnesota, that's a rough game, all right, being played, England this week. Pittsburgh, they haven't have a defense. Miami is not very good. New England's supposed to have a good defense, hasn't here. I'm going to sort of go. I mean, I think Shedeur Sanders is going to start at some point this week. I don't think it's going to be by week 10, although that does make sense here to name him the starter during the bye week, get him 2 weeks here. I'm going to go more, maybe double digits, week 12, week 14, somewhere around there. Because I'm going to give Gabriel a longer run. I think Gabriel might do some damage here against these lesser defenses here. So I like to give him a longer runway here. That being said, I do not think Gabriel is the long-term future of this team. I don't think he's a franchise quarterback at all here. I think he's a number 2 at best here. Sanders could be a number 1. I have doubts about him too. I think Sanders has a better shot. So by week 9, by week 10, I'll sell that. But if you're going to give me a couple more weeks, I would have bought it.
Fantasy Sports Today. Fridays starting at 3 p.m. Eastern. Only on SportsGrid.
We teased it, and I don't know if the people down in South Florida wanted it teased, but the Miami Dolphins are going to play a football game this weekend against the Chargers. The Chargers probably were embarrassing last week, going up against the Commanders, looking to battle back. They're a favorite. They opened up at 5.5. It's down to 4.5 at most outlets right now, but a low total of 43.5. When I see the 43.5, Joe, I look at the damaged backfield by the Chargers and say, look, I understand their offensive line is damaged as well, but moving the football through the air is something everybody can do against the Miami Dolphins. Then you take a look at the Chargers defense here. They ain't all that great at this point right now with their injuries that they have settled in. I look at the 43.5 and go, just give me the over. These two football teams don't let anything back. Both of them can't approach 20 points, Joe. What am I missing here? Also, what's missing on the Dolphins? Is their head coach going to be missing come Monday morning?
I mean, Amarian Hampton is a issue. No, Najee Harris is an issue. But what's not an issue are all the wide receivers that they will have and Justin Herbert, because this defense of the Dolphins is epically bad. And they'll figure out a way to be able to run the ball on them because everyone does. But you just watch what Bryce Young was able to do with a whole lot of scrap heap wide receivers, especially in the second half. Listen, Justin Herbert will be fine in this. And by the way, Justin Herbert, he's 13-6 against the number in games in the Eastern time zone. So I don't think this is going to be a problem coming all the way out east to take on this defense. I think the Chargers are in absolute bounce back mode. Tua has been better at home than on the road, but let's be realistic. With no Tyreek Hill, they can't run the ball. This defense of the Chargers is much better than the defense of the Dolphins, and we know the defense travels. Chargers all day for me in this one.
Go Chargers, go, as the governor used to like to say here. I'll tell you who's going. That's the Los Angeles Rams. They're going into Baltimore, and we don't know who the quarterback is going to be, but I can tell you right now, it's going to be Cooper Rush. 7.5-point favorite for the Rams, total of 44.5. Now, early in the week, Joe, you said the value is on those Baltimore Ravens. Do you still feel the same way today on a Wednesday?
It's kind of crazy, right? It is, though, unfortunately, at home in this spot. But we've got to get clarification on who's playing and who's not on the defensive side of the ball for the Ravens. That's the thing that matters more than anything else here. Can they get Roquan Smith back? Can they get, Humphreys back? Can they get some of these guys, Hamilton, back on the field for this game? If they can, I love the over a touchdown spot. If they don't, Rams in a teaser situation might be the best look here, Don.
Yeah, it sounds like Puka Nacua is going to have a big day against that secondary, which basically everybody has a big day against that secondary. 47.5, the total that we're looking at there, 44.5. Come on, Baltimore, put up some offense in this game. Run the football, pass block, do what you can. But this season is slipping away for those Baltimore Ravens right now. Arizona and Indianapolis we'll take a look at now. 3.5-point favorite at the opening number, Joe. Can't get enough of those Colts, says the betting public, as this pushes this line to 6.5. Do we see 7 by game time? And a total 47.5. A devastating loss for the Cardinals. Now go on the road, taking on a really good Indianapolis Colts team.
Yeah, well, the good news is we got a dome versus a dome team here, right? So, which would lead you to think that maybe, just maybe, we would get an over in this spot, right? Well, it's contrarian because since 2020, Donnie, when two teams who play in a dome play one another, the under is 87 and 72. So we've seen actually more unders than we've seen overs in this spot. But I mean, come on. What about this Arizona team and organization leads us to believe that, going on the road to Indy, who is absolutely balling? And I could make the argument, Donnie, this line opened up too light. It continues to be too light, that they should be over a touchdown favorite. I would get it before 7. If you like Indy, I would get this before it gets 7, because I think it will go over before the kickoff there on Sunday.
Yeah, they didn't even score in the first quarter last week. It still dropped the 40 spot, including resting starters like late in that game as well. That offense looks really good right now. Shane Steichen going to be getting some looks for Coach of the Year. Cincinnati and Green Bay. We just saw the trade go down. Joe Flacco traded over to Cincinnati, not to be a backup quarterback, to be a starter. It's hard to learn a playbook, Joe, in a week, as we know. But I don't think you get Joe Flacco to say, well, let's just burn another week with Browning as 2 touchdown underdogs to the Green Bay Packers at this point with a total 44.5. Let me ask you 2 questions. Do you think Green Bay handles the 2 touchdowns, or do we see that quarterback situation change where Browning doesn't even start this game and Flacco's just put in there because that's what they have to do?
Matt LaFleur and the Packers are 15-2 straight up against backup quarterbacks, Donnie. They have been a nightmare situation, mostly because the Packers likely going to be playing from in front, and then you're asking a backup quarterback to have to play catch-up, and that never works out well, not especially against this defense. But I think we can agree, the Packers started out like a house on fire, but now it's like last couple of games. Do we really trust them, Donnie, to win by more than 2 touchdowns here? I think they were supposed to do that against the Cowboys, weren't they? And that didn't work out. But this is in Green Bay. It's at Lambeau. It's not on the road. So, yeah, maybe a Green Bay team total might not be a bad look in this one.
Exactly. Anybody going up against that Cincinnati defense should have a lot of success. The team that had a lot of success against that Cincinnati defense last week, that was the Detroit Lions. Different atmosphere, different place, different team. They're going to take on the Kansas City Chiefs, smarting off of that loss where they basically dominated the game but had too many turnovers and too many mistakes and too many penalties, which cost them a decision against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Detroit comes to town as 2.5-point underdogs, the home team favorite, Kansas City Chiefs, a total of 52.5. I love this game. These 2 teams are going to get after it on Sunday Night Football. And if there's any indicator, Joe, we're up 4 points already from the opening look on that total to where it sits now at 52.5.
Who can blame people for betting it, Donnie?
Yeah.
You got to be kidding me. Exactly what did the Kansas City defense show us that somehow or another Jacksonville can drop? If Jacksonville can drop 30-plus points on you, then yes, Detroit will have no problem. The thing you need to keep in mind with Detroit, and I'm a big fan of that defense, but the entire secondary is a mash unit right now, Donnie.
Yeah.
There is injuries all over the place back there, which means Patrick Mahomes, you saw what he did and lit up a halfway decent Jacksonville defense. What's he going to do at home against a banged-up Detroit defense? Probably going to get a few points in this game.
What's New Orleans and Spencer Rattler going to do after picking up a victory against the New York Giants last week? At home, looking for a win streak here. New England comes to town. Back-to-back wins for them, which includes that impressive Sunday Night Football victory over the Buffalo Bills in Buffalo. They can go on a streak here. The public loves them. They're favored by 3.5 at the opening number, but we're starting to see some threes creep in here as a favorite towards New England. How are we feeling about this game, or even a total, Joe, between New England and New Orleans?
Well, we had talked about this game, Donnie, because on our spread lines, and I think the public has just undervalued the market altogether, has undervalued this New England team here, coming off a monster win against Buffalo on a Sunday night spot. And yet we're talking about one of the worst teams in the NFL in the Saints. I mean, beating the Giants, congratulations. But I don't know, man. I think there is plenty of value. Drake May, like it or not, guys, is one of the top 5 quarterbacks statistic-wise here in the NFL right now, and it's only getting better for him. And the defense of New England, healthier and starting to play together. This is, I think, all the value on New England in this spot here in this game.
Oh, boy. Talking about one-score games, Joe. We'll quickly add this one in. Tampa Bay, favored by 3 points. That means another one-score game taking on San Francisco quickly. San Francisco's quarterback is who this weekend, Joe?
It'll be Brock Purdy, and I don't like this spot for Tampa, having to go all the way to Seattle off a game against the Eagles prior, now back here to take I don't like this game at all for Tampa.
Keith Stewart's up next. Talk a little golf, people. Every sport in our lives. We cover it all in the early line. We do.
Shedeur Sanders will be starting for the Browns by week 9. I am buying this. I am buying this absolutely. At a certain point, Joe Flacco just not the answer. We know they already made the change. Dylan Gabriel starting this week. We know that. But maybe a team needs a quarterback, and they're willing to trade for Joe Flacco for some level of stability, and then we simply get nothing out of Dylan Gabriel. He is a rookie quarterback when it's all said and done. Maybe there's just no production from him. So why not just move on to a different rookie quarterback that you have just to see what you have? And then, as you mentioned over the top, you have to evaluate going into next year's draft. So I will absolutely buy this.
The next 4 weeks, Minnesota, Pittsburgh, Miami, New England. I mean, the question is this. If they truly believe that Gabriel could be a future starter, you got to give him more than 4 weeks, right? That's 4 weeks is not enough. Minnesota, it's a rough game, all right, being played, England this week. Pittsburgh, they haven't have a defense. Miami is not very good. New England's supposed to have a good defense, hasn't here. I want to sort of go. I mean, I think Shedeur Sanders is going to start at some point this week. I don't think it's going to be by week 10, although that does make sense here to name him the starter during the bye week, get him 2 weeks here. I'm going to go more, maybe double digits, week 12, week 14, somewhere around there. Because I want to give Gabriel a longer run. I think Gabriel might do some damage here against these lesser defenses here. So I think give him a longer runway here. That being said, I do not think Gabriel is the long-term future of this team. I don't think he's a franchise quarterback at all here. I think he's a number 2 at best here. Sanders could be a number 1. I have doubts about him too. I think Sanders has a better shot. So by week 9, by week 10, I'll sell that. But if you would give me a couple more weeks, I would have bought it.
Fantasy Sports Today. Fridays starting at 3 p.m. Eastern. Only on SportsGrid.
Let's have some fun. It's a hump day. We include everybody, including every sport here that we need knowledge of. Because why? There's only limited knowledge that Donnie and Joe can have. Look, I like to take shots at us. It's what we do. No shots taken at Keith Stewart. He's our resident PGA professional right here on the SportsGrid Network. Keith, welcome in on a Wednesday morning.
Donnie, hey, you know what? Get everybody ready. Tonight we have golf on the PGA Tour over in Japan, of all places.
How about that? Night golf here. But by the way, I like to keep up on current events in golf here, Keith. And growing up, Thanksgiving weekend, I used to watch a little NCAA college football. You had the NFL games on. And also, the Skins game was a big deal, Keith. The Skins game's coming back. How about that?
Yeah, and they have quite the card. I mean, Captain Keegan Bradley, Xander, JT, Tommy Fleetwood, Fairway Jesus is going to be out there on Thanksgiving weekend. I mean, I can't believe it. No, you know what? These types of things in golf, if they're doing them correctly, absolutely add to the popularity of the game right now. You know, it's almost a way to challenge those YouTube golfers. I love it. Give me more of it, especially if we're going to have the stars playing.
I agree. And we got an interesting one here because we still have a lot of familiar names playing in this tournament here. But what do we know about the golf course here? Because I only saw 2 par 5s. Is that correct?
Uh-oh.
Joe, you are correct. All right. So we're going over to a place called Yokohama Country Club. And the Zozo Championship is now turned into the Bay Current Classic. So they've changed the sponsor, but it's still that one-off fall event that happens over in Japan. They are now just a little bit southwest of Tokyo, down in Yokohama, and the country club there, actually, it's ranked the #1 municipal golf course in the country of Japan, according to Golf Digest. So I can't wait to see this thing on TV, but online it's spectacular. It was redone by Bill Coore and Ben Crenshaw just back in 2015. So just from like looks wise, Joe, you're going to see a lot of like Pinehurst bunkering. You're going to see a lot of like Kapalua greens. You're going to see a very Parkland layout there. They have 36 holes on the property, an east and a west course. They have hosted some major events there before. The 2018 Japan Open was won at 14 under, so that kind of gives you an idea. Not the same strength of field, but you know what the winning score might be. And of course, the course itself, they kind of do a little bit of an aggregate layout where they take 16 holes from the west course and 2 from the east.
Love it. Love the way this is going to set up for us today. So we do have some pretty good superstar names in this. So give us a little bit of these Keith's keys to this tournament for us, Keith.
Well, the first one there, Joe kind of led me down that road. We're going to a brand new venue over here. So Tee to Green. You're talking Bill Coore, Ben Crenshaw, and you think about those places that I just named, you're going to need some around the green acumen. Usually when we come out here, we say, hey, if you hit your irons good and you putt good like it's Sanderson, then you're going to win like Stephen Fisk. But here's the thing. I think you're going to have to add, when you start to look at this golf course, you know, on TV tonight, you're going to see a lot of these jagged edge bunkers and a lot of these swales around the greens. I think you're going to have to save a couple pars or score on those 2 par 5s. Heck, the layout on this thing, because of the way they've designed it, tournament officials, you get 10 par 4s over the last 11 holes. So my second key of the day is par 4s. There's 13 par 4s on this scorecard. 13, all right? Par 71. And the third thing I'm going to say is that you got to get the putter going. That's the one thing that always translates. The better putters are always good on new venues. And why? Because they read greens better and they're better at controlling their speed. They're going to make more putts earlier. You know, there are 78 players in this event. They do get 4 rounds. There is no cut. This is kind of a money grab over in Japan for the fall for the PGA Tour. But if you look at those three keys, around the green, par 4s, and putting, I think you'll do well choosing your players.
Sounds like a wedge fest here, Keith. Hit it 300 yards and get your sand. Like who should we trust in and around the greens here to get this done?
Well, Joe, I'm going to go back. My early leans on the early line. I'm going to go back to Garrick Higo. I love the confidence and the swagger this kid showed on Sunday. I know he finished runner-up, but his number started the week around 50, and now on FanDuel this morning, he's already down to plus 4,000. I got him yesterday at plus 4,500, right? Second at the Sanderson, 7th at the Procore. In those last 2 starts, he's gaining an average of 12 strokes on the field. Now, you got to remember, we found this kid when he came out of South Africa back in 2021 on the DP World Tour. He won 2 out of 3 events. Then he comes over to the PGA Tour, and he wins his first PGA Tour event less than a month later in Palmetto. So I love when this kid is hot. You got to play him. And then the second guy is a guy that we've been watching all year, and we've hoped for big things from him. But at plus 5,500, Gary Woodland has been playing some very nice golf. He's got 3 straight top 25s, and that is spread apart by the playoffs, which he didn't compete in. So he's had some good golf going over the course of 2 months. He comes off the Ryder Cup. I think he's going to be extremely motivated. Now, the ball striking with Gary, there's no question. And I think he'll work his way around Yokohama very, very nicely. But the putter is what's led to his recent success. So I really love Gary, and I really love Garrick.
By the way, Keith, like this tournament's going to play. We're going to finish out the PGA Tour. The TGL is going to start up a little bit. So we got some good things to look forward to. But I still can't get over the Ryder Cup. In 2 years, we're going to have another Ryder Cup. What are the early indications? Is it just that they just say, here's a blank check, Tiger, get this together? Like if you had your pick right now, who's the captain of the next Ryder Cup and what's the direction for Team USA?
I mean, Donnie, this is the most important question in golf right now, is that how is Team USA going to fix this thing? And I mentioned this last week. It has to be treated almost like an Olympic franchise, right? Like it's Olympic hockey or it's Olympic basketball. And I love that analogy because what they did back in 2000 when they hired Jerry Colangelo to be the general manager, and then he brought in Mike Krzyzewski, we need some sort of linear transition where like there's a path, there's a program, there's an actual process that's taking place, that not every 2 years we get a new captain with new ideas and a new system, right? The fact of the matter is that at this moment, until I would interview Tiger Woods or whatever, he's probably the worst choice possible because he'd be the one to take the least amount of feedback. I mean, honestly, Donnie, we need a general manager that works on this thing 24/7. That's what they do over the DP World Tour, right? We need an actual like committee, like a real committee, not a task force, not some BS country club thing. We need an actual like committee with a general manager that puts together like a hiring committee, and then we find a good captain, right? That good captain, you want it to be someone, I mean, like just copy what they've done with Luke Donald. I've got no pride at this point. We just get whooped all the time. We've won 3 of these things this century. So as far as I'm concerned, you follow their model, and I think we're going to have a lot more success. But it starts with someone on top of the captain for a process.
Follow, read the line is what we're saying here. You want your golf advice, Keith's the guy to give it. We love talking to Keith. We'll see him shortly again. Thanks for rising and grinding with us on the early line, Keith. We really appreciate it. We'll be back next.
If you're O'Connell, you have a serious decision to make. Like, what is, again, he's been hurt now in back-to-back years, McCarthy.
Yeah.
You don't know what you have.
100%.
This is a similar situation to what the Niners did with Trey Lance. Like, if the guy can't stay on the field, and again, limited, you have to do what's best for the organization.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
Florida State put up 498 rushing yards on this defense, 8 rushing touchdowns, and they almost averaged 10 yards per carry.
Tough scene.
I mean, you got to be kidding me. It should be 60 to 7.
Yeah. Give me the 7.
I just gave you the 7.
Exactly. And
are you
the
on this?
Point. I'm thinking field goal and maybe a
but
safety.
But are you on
Joe.
this? This
Over
is your best
3.5.
Okay.
Didn't you read the screen?
I
What are you not paying attention to the show?
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
I can tell you right now, Jamar Chase is getting moved on a lot of teams. And I understand why. I mean, you don't have Joe Burrow coming back this year. It's just not happening. And then Jake Browning has been less than impressive. There's no doubt about that. So Jamar Chase is still an extraordinary talent, and I think buying him low is interesting. Why? Because if you do look, the schedule does get a little bit easier. The defense is still bad. Jake Browning has been productive.
Fantasy Sports Today, only on SportsGrid.
The Americans got to find answers in these partnerships, and I think they need to look at their who's making these decisions from a stat standpoint.
Well, it's so funny to me, especially coming off of the Walker Cup just a few weeks before, how it just seems like there's this glaring chasm between American partnered match play and American individual, singles match play.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
Hump day, baby. We set the table for the Sports Grid highlights you need, and it's Donnie Rightside and it's Joe Ranieri. It's just how we get down. But this part of the program, Joe Ranieri, we like to reach out to the public. We want to know what they think on a certain question that we asked here on our Fade the Public poll. Disrespectful you public are, but by the way, I'm going to tell you which way the public has gone. At SportsGrid, our account on X is the easiest way to find the Fade the Public poll. We asked a simple question today that you just had an answer. There were 4 options to this question. Which team do you think will be eliminated today in Major League Baseball's divisional series? The 4 options: Tigers, Cubs, Yankees, and Phillies. And no surprise, 31% of the current vote coming in on the Philadelphia Phillies to get eliminated. I am a Phillies fan. I voted for the Philadelphia Phillies to get eliminated today over the Yankees, the Cubs, and the Tigers. Joe, did I get this right? And which way did you go?
Yeah, listen, I have a ticket on the Dodgers to win this series. So I won't be crying tears, Donnie. Sorry about it. But I do think they have a shot of getting at least one game here. The team that I think you can just wrap up and finish is Detroit. I think it ends for Detroit today, even if the bats get going. Outside of the Cubs, Donnie, I mean, Detroit has had to rely on that mediocre bullpen the most here of anybody. The Cubs have logged over 30 and a half bullpen innings in the postseason, and the Tigers are right behind them there. Outside of Skubal, if you don't get Casey Mize to go 6 innings, if they got to keep going, to me, it's over here for Detroit. It was should have been over against the Guardians, but, here they are right now.
Yeah, so Tigers, Cubs, Yankees, Phillies, no matter what happens, you can't get 4 games again today. This will be the last day of that. As a sports fan, you want to see those high-leverage situations get to Game 5. As a ticket holder or a fan of your team, you want to close it on and move on to the next round, which will be the ALCS and the NLCS, and we'll see if those 4 teams could be decided today. We'll find that a little bit later, but this is part of the program where we got to get some winners. Yesterday, I went to bed with a plus 120 ticket in my pocket on the Toronto Blue Jays. I woke up to a losing ticket. Here's bye. Bounce back, Hump Day Wednesday. Joe Ranieri, where do we go?
Well, I am going to go to that game that I think one team is getting eliminated here today, and that is Detroit and Seattle. And I did, in fact, check the weather report here today, Donnie. That 3-hour rain delay yesterday kind of threw a wrench into things. But today at 3 o'clock Eastern time, when this game is set to go off, the wind will be blowing out to right field, 13 miles per hour, 55 degrees at the start. But as this game goes on, the winds are expected to be closer to 15 to 20 miles an hour blowing out to right field here. Bryce Miller has been a gas can now for a while for the Mariners. Casey Mize has got to get it done, except, the way they're swinging the bat in Seattle, get the ball up in the air, and bye-bye-bye. I think the over here, Donnie, 8.5. I think the bats are coming alive here. I think Detroit's got a good opportunity against Miller and company to get some runs on the board, but I think Seattle ultimately just too much, and I think they'll hit more. Either way, I can see us getting over 8.5 runs in this one.
Yeah, it's nice to see the 8.5s pop up because you have that in Toronto and New York as well. Enough with these 6.5s that you're seeing in Milwaukee and Chicago. By the way, I do think that game goes over. And then you have the 7.5 out west there for Nola versus Yamamoto. But I'm going to go to the Bronx, the scene of the crime last night, which cost me some money, which is okay. But let's bounce back today. I'm actually going to go with the New York Yankees. Cam Schlittler used to pitching at home in big-time situations. Has he done a lot? No, but has he been sensational when they needed him? Yes, he absolutely is. Am I expecting an unbelievably dominant performance to go 9 innings in this game or 8 innings? No, I'm not. But you should be able to go toe-to-toe with Louis Varland and the bullpen over the first 5 innings. The Yankees should be able to hit that bullpen. Schlittler holds down those bats early for the Toronto Blue Jays. Take the bullpen of the Yankees out of the equation. Give me a good starting pitcher versus a bullpen with a home team riding momentum, Joe. Run line, first 5 innings, Yankees, minus a half of a run, minus 122 as a price point here. Donnie, why don't you just take the Yankees? You said they're going to win today. It's a minus 192, minus 190 price here. I'll go with the younger price. Put it this way. My handicap would be missed if the Yankees are down 2-1 at the end of 5 innings, so I would be fine with that loss. I don't think they will. Yankees will have the lead after 5, Joe. That's where I'm going.
Yeah, I like where you're looking there.
Yeah.
And even though the Yankees went to the bullpen, you know, early in that game, Doval, Tim Hill, all those guys they used, very few pitches. They'll all be available again tonight.
Donnie Rightside, Joe Ranieri, another episode here, The Early Line. We will be back early tomorrow morning. See ya.